Timberwolf is closed all year. We don't know why, but this is my first visit here in almost 2 years. It does feel nice to be back here, but wow, might be a massive crowd here today. We are really backed up. They must not be letting anyone in until 11 o'clock sharp. As usual, we got Fright Fest decorations up before Labor Day. And a big crowd arrived early today, so if this is a sign of what 2026 is going to be like, with these season pass sales that they've had, great deals on them, parks could be very, very packed next year, and the rest of this year, of course. I understand the business strategy of it. Give away the gate, get people in, and they'll spend money in the park. But it will make the lines longer, too. So my last visit to Worlds of Fun was 2 years ago. At that time, every visit I had, they allowed people through the front gates into that entry plaza and just had us roped off. They're not doing that anymore. They wait till 11 o'clock to let anyone in the gates. So that's a good thing to note. And of course, spinning dragons will usually be people's first stop if they're heading this direction, because it gets a long line. If you need that credit, do it first. But if you already got that credit, do Patriot first. Because for some reason, this B&M invert has really slow operations. The line really gets backed up. Do it early, before it gets a line. Even though it's one of my favorite B&M inverts, I don't think it's worth much of a wait. Because I'm not that big of an invert fan anyway, but that's why I like Patriot so much, because it's not too intense, it doesn't have any headbanging moments. Wow, that was rattly. I've always known this ride to be smooth in the past, but it's been 2 years since I've ridden it. It's gotten very, very rattly. And as you probably know, sadly, Timberwolf is closed for the season. Hopefully it'll be back next year. That's basically my third favorite ride in the park. Hope they don't ruin it by putting steel track on it. But there does not seem to be any life here. So I'll come back later. Prowler is open, so I guess I'll spend the next 9.5 hours right here. I got my one ride on Patriot, that's plenty. Yes, and it's basically a walk-on. I was able to get 5 laps in on Prowler before it built up a line. It was a walk-on each time. I did row 2 a couple times, then the back 3 rows. And compared to 2 years ago, last time I was here, these trees have really grown in. We used to be able to see the lift hill quite easily from here, but it's now completely blocked. But that makes it more secluded while you're on ride. And that's always been one of the best aspects of Prowler, is going off into the woods and not being able to see anything other than the trees and the track. But speaking of the track, why did they have to put Titan track on this? There's one small section that has Titan track, unfortunately. I did hear that they put Titan track on part of it. It is after they take your picture. You have the drop, then the first hill that goes through the lift hill. And then they take your picture, and then on that drop, that's where you hit the Titan track. And there's an airtime hill that used to give really great airtime, and now it only gives very, very modest airtime, and only in the front. That used to be such a great airtime moment, but the Titan track has stifled it. And the great thing about that airtime moment is that while you're airborne, you also got a lateral jolt. And those laterals have also been completely stifled by the Titan track. I don't know why they feel the need to put steel track on a wood coaster. I know it's only for one small section, but it does take quite a bit away from the ride. It's still my favorite GCI, still my favorite ride in the park. But it's not my favorite GCI by quite as much anymore. It's gonna be pretty close between this and Thunderhead. That was really weird. While I was giving my dialogue, I ended up getting surrounded by like 10 people behind me, listening in on what I was saying. It's gotta be one of the quickest times I've ever reached 10 laps on a coaster in a day. It's 12:46. I did one ride on Patriot, 10 rides on Prowler.
We're gonna feel the wrath of the Prowler. Meow.
So with the trees grown in over there, this is about the only view you have of the lift hill. Although I think if you get over by Zulu, you can get a peek of it. After 15 laps on Prowler, figured I'd come over and get one on Mamba. Though that line isn't terrible. Not on a high capacity ride. I definitely want to make sure I get at least one ride on Green Mamba. Mamba is just as awesome as ever. Got in row 3. You either want row 3 or the back row. It's smooth in every row, so wheel seat doesn't matter. That mid-course is still not catching, or if it is, just barely catching. You're just flying over those final run of Bunny Hills. Incredible airtime. I can understand someone saying that this is their favorite in the park over Prowler. The airtime on this is great, but it still is a very simple ride. Prowler has a lot more variety, and of course it's a wood coaster. Well, for now it's a wood coaster. It's kind of a hybrid, but we're not into full-on hybrid status yet. But I have a feeling they're gonna just keep replacing the wood track with steel track. And once that happens, Mamba will be the best in the park for me also. If Prowler goes with 50% or more steel track, Mamba will be the best in the park, even for me. Oh, since everything's gonna have a long wait, I figure might as well wait out Zambezi Zinger. Only took about 40 minutes. It was posting over an hour. I did hear about the enclosed lift hill, the enclosed spiral lift. I didn't pay much attention to it, but I remember hearing about it. But again, there's not much of any airtime on it. I think coming up right here, you get a little airtime. But no airtime anywhere else. It is a little rough, and it's intense as it goes over to the other side where you can't see it now. That gets pretty intense with those whippy turns. So other than that one moment, there's not really any airtime, but it makes up for it with some intensity. But still, that's not a family coaster. It will move up my list though. I think I was a little too critical of it before. I think what helps me is that I have built up more tolerance for rough coasters now. So the roughness of this doesn't bother me. It will be too rough for some people, including the person who was riding behind me. He didn't like it at all. Still, I wouldn't say that it's one that I would want to wait like an hour for, except that I've already done 15 rides on Prowler. Mamba's about an hour. Figure might as well go ahead and wait. So many times over the years I've gotten to double digits in a day on Prowler, but this is the first time I've reached 20 rides in a day. There's that one time that I had the fast lane that I did 19. On that 19th lap, we got stuck on the first set of brakes, and that kept us sitting there until park closing. Otherwise, if we would have been able to roll back into the station, I would have had enough time to go around and get number 20. But today I got to 20 laps within the first 6 hours, and there's 4 hours left of park operations. So yes, I could get over 30 on this, and I might still, but I'm gonna do some other things. I've already done Zulu a couple times, probably my second favorite ride in the park. I'm up to 24 laps on Prowler. I've done at least one ride in all 12 rows. The Zambezi Zinger is a night ride I have not gotten yet. This is basically how long the line is, like a 2-train wait. I got last ride of the night on Prowler. This turned out to be a great day at Worlds of Fun after all. There were big crowds, especially midday, as expected on a holiday weekend. And because I focused so much on Prowler, that's what got my ride count up. I ended up with 36 coaster rides, 3 rides on Zulu. So I did 2 Zambezi Zinger night rides, and then came over and got 3 rides there at the end on Prowler. And that brings my daily total for Prowler up to 27. So with those 27 laps on Prowler, that stands alone as my 3rd highest daily count in my life. Topped only by 31 on Air Force 1 and 42 on Iron Rattler. Those 42 on Iron Rattler came earlier this year. Also, just about every other time that I've reached 20 rides or more in a day, I've been able to get there thanks to some re-rides. I did not get there on re-rides with Prowler. And also, I didn't have any kind of skip the line service. The 42 rides that I got on Iron Rattler earlier this year, I did have skip the line. The 31 on Air Force 1, I didn't have that, but you don't really need it on that ride. And that's it from Worlds of Fun on this visit.